There we go. We're gonna do a slideshow Hey, what's up? Queen Crystallis here. Crystalla, how's it going? Might Possibly is in here. Stellic, John Weed, Peter from Aesthetic Monte, Randman, Nanu, Drawing Company Waffles. Welcome. Anybody else? bit.ly/NFTOPIA3 if you want to join class in person, or you can watch the Twitch. Great. And I'm going to give the show to Mr. Funny NFT guy, Matt from Drawn Company. He has a slideshow presentation for us. He's going to cover slide design, marketing masterclass part 2. To see the first part, you want to go onto our YouTube. We have the first week there if you want to really do your homework and catch up. And then also later on, Waffles Kitty will be joining us to talk about her project as a case study. All right. So without further ado, I'll give it to Mr. Drawn Company. Class is in session, y'all. And make sure to ask questions in the chat or tips or thoughts or suggest anything like that. Throw that in the chat and we'll bring it up after the presentation and we'll hash it all out. So
cool.
Take it away.
Wait there. So just let me start. So can you see that?
Yep.
Consumer, can we all see that?
We gotcha.
So yeah, one hell of an introduction. I love it. So welcome to week 2 of 3 of NFTOPIA School. We covered some topics last week. What did we cover last week, guys? We covered drop strategies and
swag strategies.
Swag. And then we did a bit of marketing as well. We took a deep dive into how to utilize the data that's available to you. So if you're here this week and you didn't watch last week, I really advise you to go back because you're going to learn something. So what's the purpose of this session? And everyone, if you're collectors and you're not creators, I think you'll get as much enjoyment out of this session as creators would, because it's interesting in seeing how the wiring works. So I hope you stay on board until you get bored, of course. So what's the ultimate sort of like goal is the question that I always want to ask people of why we exhibit at NFTopia and why NFTopia exists. And I believe that the ultimate aim, no matter what we're doing at NFTopia, is to get NFTs into holders' wallets, right? And that might be an existing holder, it might be a new holder, but there's a big opportunity there for you. And we're going to show you the easy way to do it. So if you are a creator and you attended week 1 and week 2 and you're here for week 3, we're going to give every project attending all 3 weeks a free Nuvo code for their booth, which is $10. So consumer, what does the Nuvo code give us again? You do it a lot better than me.
Sure. The Nuvo code is a unique URL link, QR code that you can put into your booth slides that people will be scanning to add points to their badges. They're going to be looking and finding them. They're going to be looking through the slides to find these codes. So it's an incentive for people to come and look at your slides. And also, we'll have a 1-hour live stream where I'm going to do that on live stream and check out all the booths that have the codes in there. So if you attend all 3 sessions, you'll get a free one. They're $10 otherwise. And you'll be able to put it in your booth and kind of give some extra exposure to people coming to your booth. How do you attend all 3 sessions? You do need to fill out a form. So if you were here last week, you would have needed to do it then. And now that you are here this week, we have a form to fill, and I will put it right here too. So good reminder there. Everybody in here, I got a form right there in the inverse chat. If you just fill that guy out. And then we also have it right here in the Twitch chat. You see it right there. Fill that out, especially if you're a creator. I mean, it's meant for that. And then if you're in there all 3 sessions, then we'll reward you. But continue.
Yeah, sorry, thanks for that. You do it a lot better than I do. And we're also raffling off one small booth worth $20. Is that for the next one, or is that for the one after?
Yeah, that's right too. So in addition to getting your code, one of the attendees that hits all of them will be a winner of a free booth for the next one.
Fantastic.
Yeah, a small booth for the next one.
So fill out that form ASAP. Right, so this week, right, we are doing slide design. We're going to touch on that. We're going to do Marketing 101 Part 2, and I'm going to give you some tips and tricks. and then we're going to do a roundtable. And I thought I'd added this to the slide. We have people tonight, a real life Batman in the house, as well as Waffles Kitty. Now, Consumers already said that Waffles Kitty is going to come and talk about her experience of moving from running NFTOPIA and being the Miss Rabbit of Web3, because she does literally everything, to making her own NFTs. But yeah, where's the Batman reference come in? Well, we've got the awesome Peter Aesthetic Monte in the house, who has a little side project. And I spoke to him last night and I said, I've got this thing called an NFTOPIA School. I'd like you to come and speak. And he's going to do a presentation. So tonight, the great thing is this has been my dream from the start, that I don't have to do all the heavy lifting. So I'm going to do a very short presentation, and then we're going to hand it over to Waffles, and then we're going to hand it over to Aesthetic Monte. So that's going to be exciting. And then, as Consumer said, we're going to do a roundtable. So the health warning, all the health warning on this is, it's the regular Web3 health warning, DYOR, do your own research. What I'm telling you might be applicable to my project. I've tried to get generalist examples across the board, but some of the examples that I've used are specifically aimed at projects, and you'll see why we get when we do one of our case studies, are specifically arranged around case studies in a certain niche, and that doesn't apply to everyone. So just bear that in mind. What I'm saying is good, and you will learn something, but it might not always be applicable to you and your project. So let's dive into slide design then, right? Last week was a bit text heavy. We got some more pretty pictures, so hopefully it'll be a bit more fun and light this week. What are the three key things with when you're designing your booth for NFTOPIA? So the first thing is, this is crucial. You need to establish your aims, right? What do you want to get out of NFTOPIA? Because that's going to completely inform your approach and your slide design, right? Then we've got KISS, right, which is a very simple acronym. Keep it simple, stupid, right? Do not bombard people with stuff. Don't use text. See these things as billboards, like we were talking about last week, and don't too many of them, because people want to take in the information, and if you give them good call to actions, which leads me on to my next point, and you're using stuff like QR codes and links, then you're going to succeed, because if people are interested, all we're doing is sparking the interest. We want them to then say, okay, I like what I see, let's go and do some further investigation. So I showed these slides last time, but I think they're really good examples of what not to do. So when I was attending DigiCon, I made a lot of mistakes. I make a lot of mistakes in what I do, but that doesn't matter, because I always learn from my mistakes. And there's a famous saying in innovation, which is, fail sooner so you can succeed quicker. It's as simple as that. And the Web3 space enables us to do that as creators. So on the left-hand side, we've got a slide which I've used on my own presentation from an old DigiCon, but I did a slide about the swag that I was giving away. I don't need to do that, because that stuff's at the swag booth. It's completely separate. So I'm not thinking about my messaging there. I'm sort of like giving someone a message that they get otherwise elsewhere. So you don't need to do that. The slide on the right, it's just confused. Okay, I'm using a QR code, but there's far too much information on there. I'm not looking at it as a billboard. Again, I've used these before. I use them again because I think they're great. These are Broken Doll slides from, I think, NFTOPIA 1, right? And I've highlighted with dirty red circles there. We've got QR codes. We've got simple headlines with what can be done. And then we've got the call to action. Okay. And it's not even explicit there, is it? However, we're in the Web3 space. Everybody who visits your slide is going to know that that's a QR code. You don't need to go sort of like overboard on the whole thing. You know, we're talking about the Drawn Company's blend here to blend up to his tracksuit top. Not tracksuit top. What's that called? It's a tank top. So I'm going to click that QR, and that's where the QR took me. It's as simple as that. So yeah, I'm not going to dwell much on Drawn Company tonight, because I think some really good examples elsewhere of what's going on. So, with this slide, all I was doing was introducing Series 4, the Revolution will be minted, and then using the same premise there. I've got the QR code in the corner. That would then take the person to the website. That played on the fact that the build up to NFTOPIA 2 was I was marketing heavy, so people knew what the brand was. I didn't feel I needed to sort of like go any further for people who had visited my booth to sort of say, okay, I've seen that, I want to learn more. For those that did want to learn more, I went into slightly more detail, but again, I'm not sort of over egging it here. I had a really awesome trailer on YouTube. So if you go to YouTube and type in Drawn Company Series 4, it's on the levels of a sort of like a cinema trailer. It's just fun. I've got a voiceover guy. He works with me and supplies me stuff like that. But there you go. Again, it's clear messaging. I've got the YouTube logo. I've got the QR code. I've got all the different types of NFTs that are there. So people don't really need to know much more information. Packs are available at 7 p.m. UTC. I'm not bombarding. I'm keeping it clear and I'm keeping it clean. And the one thing about that particular slide presentation was they all had the bar at the bottom, apart from the first slide there. So moving on. Sorry, I will raise one point about the QR code. So you can make QR codes for free on lots of different websites. You just have to find the right website. You can speak to different creators and ask them which QR code generators that they are using. But the most important point here is we know from the data that most users are on desktop. So the phone is handy. It's the call to action. It's there. If people like what they see, they're going to want to investigate further. Moving on. One thing I always do at NFTOPIA, and I'll be doing it this time, is I always whet people's appetite for the future. So there I am. This was back in April. And I'm making a claim that DCX Video Games, which is my next Generation 2 action figure, is dropping in summer 2023. Now, it's not going to be dropping in summer 2023. Doesn't really matter though at this point because I've given nothing more than a logo, and I'll come back to that later on. But just always be thinking in your slide presentation. This is your one chance to get a catchment audience. What else can I tell them about that might be coming, down the line? Even if it's not a fully formed idea yet, just let them know about it. So other things to consider with your slide design. The metaverse is open now, and I haven't spent much time on this section because you can do your own research. Just come into the metaverse and look at everybody's slideshows from NFTOPIA 2. It's an absolute feast for the eyes, and you'll be able to take notes. You'll be able to look at what you think works, what doesn't work, and then you can go back and you can ask other creators for tips. So, if you've seen something that a creator's done particularly good, then you can go back, contact them on Twitter. Everybody's approachable in our space. One thing that's sort of like crucial to this whole process when you're designing what is essentially an elevator pitch, that's what you have to remember. We're sort of trying to capture someone's interest in a very short space of time. Is before you print your slides, before you're happy with them, show them to someone, do a bit of prototyping. I do it all the time with other creators, with everything I'm doing. I'll just send it out and say, what do you think of this? And you get feedback. And it's really funny, this last point here. Video is a double-edged sword, because when I did this before, when we did NFTOPIA 1, I turned around to everyone and said video is king. But actually, from discussing it in this session at NFTOPIA 1, I've sort of flipped back and I've gone back to the sort of like doing slides, because actually there's problems with video with Inverse at the minute. You don't get a preview, you just get like the play button in the center of the screen, so you've got no initial draw to come to your stand. I'm lucky I've got one of the big stands so I can have video as well. So I'll always have my presentation and then a video. But not everybody's going to be in that position. So the conclusion is, from discussions with other creators, really, maybe just stick to slides, because you get that nice preview just to draw people in. So we're going to touch a bit on marketing now, and we've got just 4 themes to cover. We're going to look at the Twitter algorithm because that is crucial. It's important, and so many people get it wrong, even though I tell them and give them the facts. We're going to look at some basics. So, what do I do? What do other projects do that you should be doing? And then we're going to look at Lembus because obviously we all know Lembus had a sellout drop last night, and I think that's interesting to look at what he was doing to get a sellout drop. And then we're going to look at who you need to know, because I think as a creator starting out, and even sort of like intermediate and advanced creators, still don't know who to speak to in the space, who can actively promote your brand on your behalf whilst you're sleeping. So the Twitter algorithm, people, you might know this, you might not. You need to understand the hierarchy of how posts are boosted by the algorithm, right? And you might turn around and say, no, this is rubbish. This is fact. I can put the link to the website. It was published April the 25th. Can't remember what the company is, but I looked at it before we came on just so I was 100% sure with this. So when you're looking for what the type of interactions that you want, you get a 30% boost from the likes. So that's from the hearts, basically. So when you're doing a post, if you want to boost it out into the community, you need to be focusing on getting likes on that post as opposed to retweets, right? Now, in all cases, a like and a retweet is going to be much better. But the way I treat retweets now is that because I don't get the value out of it, when I'm doing a competition, I don't even ask for retweets anymore. I just ask for likes. People are going to retweet it anyway. But if you just look at your profile as the posts that I retweet are sort of like pinned to my feed. So that's stuff that I'm interested in. So if someone comes to my page, that's the type of thing I want them to see. And that can work for you or against you. But now, when I'm trying to help other creators out, I don't retweet them. I just like their post. And as you can see at the bottom there, we've got 1% for comments. I don't know why that's the case, but that's the case. Comments do not boost your posts on Twitter. So we want to be making sure that we're constructing tweets that are going to get those likes to push you out to a wider audience. One thing, and this was an epiphany for Consumer Break last time, was Twitter absolutely hates external links. So you have to be very careful with how you use them. Now, I'm not saying that you're not going to get engagement with links in your post, but a good sort of like example of how to use links on Twitter is to create one post and pin it to your profile. And then when you're doing with all sort of like relevant links in, and you'll see me do this, you'll see other savvy creators do that. So when I'm building up to Karenberger, which is my NFTOPIA drop, I'll have one link, one post which has all the links in, clearly marked, but I'll direct people to that post when I'm doing other posts, so I don't have to include the link. And then of course there's always thread, right? Now consumers on there, Waffles on there, I'm on there, I know Kristala and Rada's on there. You should definitely have a look, but no one knows how things are going to go. So at the minute, I'm just posting on there. I'm following people just because I don't want to miss out. There's that bit of FOMO. So I want to make sure that I've got sort of like, a fair few posts under my belt and a fair few followers before things go big. Of course, it's all a learning exercise as well, because it's completely different on Thread. It's more conversational. It's lighter and it's fun, but I don't think it will replace Twitter. But you should still be there as a Wax project representing. So I've said this last time and I'll continue to say it. The GIF is king, right? You can make GIFs standing on your head and really easily. And these are examples of just 3 GIFs that I've made, which do help to increase engagement, where all I'm doing is in the ones on each side, I'm just using the same picture. On the right-hand side, I'm changing the text. And on the left-hand side, I'm just changing the color. Just makes it pop a bit out of the feed. The height one in the center is just 2 frames. I've just changed the color of the lightning bolts, but it looks cool. It's effective. And they're reusable. You can use them on Discord. You can use them sort of like on Twitter. You can use them for all sorts of purposes. So yeah, just three examples. And I use easygift.com. Other gift makers are available. But you know, I find that easy to use. The gifts are made in seconds, and it adds maybe 30 seconds onto the post time. They're disposable, so you can just make them quickly and think, do you know what? I don't care about that. I probably haven't got the best examples to show you because I just throw them away once I've used them. I don't keep them. I just use them a couple of times and then they're straight in the trash. GM baby, let's all do the GM. People in Web3 love a GM, and again, all I do with my GMs is when I'm sort of like working towards a big project release. In on the right hand side, we've got the Series 3 Generation 2 action figures, which was another sellout pocket money promise drop that we did. All I'm doing is taking some of the assets that I'm creating and putting the word GM in the background. And again, that gets me great engagement. I'm not necessarily trying to sell people stuff when I'm doing these GMs. I'm just doing them for fun because people like them and it's a nice thing to do. It's simple extra content, you know, and you can use your existing stuff. The one on the left was for American Independence Day, which incorporates the flag, Jesus, and aliens, and burgers, which are all loved over the pond. Um, Tagging NFTOPIA. Oh, please, please, please. Can some projects tag NFTOPIA? And Consumer will tell me, have we had many projects tagging NFTOPIA with posts to say that they're there?
Some
That's
of
too
them,
funny, Matt.
some of them certainly are. Some of them certainly are. And when that happens, guess what? We retweet it, and I retweet it with Consumer Breaks account, and Drawn Company might
Oh my
retweet
God.
it. And
Yeah.
all you gotta do is get
Waffles.
NFTopia content out there, and we'll try
Yeah.
to help. Yeah.
And this is a great example from the apes, yeah, of where they've just created something simple. We've got a black brick wall there. They put on some of their existing assets and the NFTopia logo, and they're getting the retweet. And as Consumer says there, it's not just a one retweet. You've got Waffles who retweets. You've got Consumer. I retweet. Sometimes, although I don't, I'll like. You know, we've
Or
got
other
Puzzle
projects.
Puzzler.
Yeah, Puzzler,
Nifty,
of course. Yeah.
other
Other
projects.
exhibitors in the space, anybody hype about NFTopia, if they see the logo and you're showing that you're excited about being there and are going to do something there, especially with a custom post or a custom graphic, then yeah. It'll get not that it's going to blow up, but it's all free. It's all free. Just make it, put it up, and the Wax fam will help boost it.
Yeah, we'll do it. And the great thing here is we're doing no extra effort. We're just tagging in an Ftopia and we're using the logo. You know, they're not going to retweet everything. They're not going to like everything, although they do. But, you know, if they got bombarded, there'd be a situation where they'd have to start using. But the very fact is, they're not at the point where they're being bombarded at the minute. So what I always say to creators is, it's a no-brainer. Just create something with your art in, with the logo, and just build some hype. There's no advertising going on in this from Wax Ape's side, but we all know, looking at this, that Wax Apes are going to NFTopia, and they put the date on there as well, which is helpful. Great marketing, sort of like great all round for everybody. No brainers, and again, I put a trash can here. So when I'm building up to a launch, I'll just think, what can I do, or how can I, how am I going to do my social content for this? Well, if this was for the last one, we've got the Atomic Hub logo with the sold out sign in front there. That was obviously when I'd sold out. I wouldn't have put that up before. The one on the right hand side was building up to one of my promo sticker drops, and all I'd done was put the 3 promo sticker drops. I'd given them the time, and then I was a bit naughty because I found the boxing ring from elsewhere. But that doesn't really matter because I'm not printing that. So like I wouldn't put that in an NFT. But it's sort of like it's around the theme. We've got aliens versus arcades, and we're letting them fight. And again, what I was doing there was hijacking off the Wax Apes fame. I was just using some existing stuff that I had under my belt to do promotion and to add into my latest drop to make it more relevant. No brainers. So using data effectively, we talked about this last week, right? And what I thought was interesting was, if you didn't watch last week, please go back and watch last week, because I think the data stuff is really interesting, if not a bit hard work for a Saturday night. It's not the greatest piece of design, but this is me using data effectively. So once I'd done the drop, I just wanted to tell people what had happened. So this is series 4. I think it was on the Sunday night. We had 97 holders. We people had opened 169 packs. We were the 8th most popular collection on NFT. 53 of the stakables have been blended. 38 of the PFPs had found a home. We caused a lot of chaos at NFTOPIA. And what else did we have on the bottom there? Oh, and there we go. That was a good bit at the bottom there, because what we do is, with our management team, so either OGs or people who come on board and collect more than 30 of our NFTs, they become what's called management designates, and they get to share a percentage of our profits. So really, this post is sort of like twofold for me. I'm getting the message out that we've got 97 holders, but also I'm informing my current collectors that actually there's 3,700 wax coming their way very soon. It's just good, and all I'm doing there is using the data that's available to me. So let's talk about Lembas then. The guy of the moment. What's the secret? Well, I think there's 4 things here that we can't argue, and you won't argue once we go through these next slides, and then I'll shut up. Lembas does the basics very well, right? He's an artist. He's not a marketeer, but he does the basics very well. And we'll look at the type of basics that he's doing. He communicates with the community. This is like a 101. And when you communicate with people, you build trust. We were talking about it on the NFT circus earlier. He's got an outstanding product, but also he was in the right place at the right time, because PFPs are the flavor of the month at the minute, and he sold out instantly. But because of those 4 ingredients there, he was probably, sorry, even without being in the right place at the right time, he'd have probably sold out, because of the fact that it's an outstanding product. He communicates and he does the basics. So the basics, links on a pin tweet. So he did exactly the same what I'm talking about. He pinned a tweet with all the links up there. How simple is that tweet? We know where the public drop is. We know where we can craft our tickets, and we know where we can craft the V2 tickets. And then for more information, join the call Discord. It's simple. He's got a lovely GIF there. Sorry, I wasn't able to capture the GIF. But again, he can point people towards that tweet because it's pinned, and then he's not losing any he's not losing any of his tweets to the algorithm. Doesn't matter. And he's got 109 likes on that anyway. He's got 4,719 views, 86 retweets, and 19 comments. Sweet Jesus. That's for a small project, that's like, that's phenomenal. It's outstanding. So, again, marketing 101, right? So this is the utter basics, but stuff we forget. He's using the hashtags. So you use relevant hashtags, you tag in the right accounts, you're going to get retweets, and you're going to get pushed out further as a consequence. And here he is, just doing a happy Wex Wednesday. It's simple. And we've got his lovely art at the bottom. So don't forget that. And then I talked about communication. There was a point building up to his launch where he had some sort of like issues with his ticket that he'd done, but he communicated at every step. He's basically saying in this tweet, I'm sorting the problem right now. Again, it builds trust. He had to postpone this promo drop that he was doing with the ticket, but so long as he was keeping people up to date, they weren't bothered. So he's building trust. He's not shying away from the problem and hiding and panicking and thinking, oh my God, I don't know what to say. He's actively going out there and he's managing the situation, which is great. And then, of course, all the ingredients that we were talking about then leads to the ultimate piece of marketing, which is word of mouth, right? Because he's got himself up to a point now where he's sold out a drop Like it was phenomenal. It went in seconds, but people love the stuff so much, and this comes back to how good the product is, right? People are retweeting it left, right, and center, and we've got Lammy there, and we've got Time Traveler on Wax. These are big accounts, and that's the type of thing you play for as a wax creator. You you want people to be talking about your stuff online. Simple as that. So by doing all the things that we were talking about, the basics, communication, and what was the third point? Right there. Having an outstanding product have just worked in his favor there. So the last thing I'm going to talk about is making connections. This is really important when you're trying to get out there, whether you're trying to get started or whether you're established. You need to build relationships with the people who can promote your product, right? So we've got NFT Meet the Artist, the Crackers. You want to be speaking to him if you're a new project, but at the same time, I speak to him all the time and pester him for him to do an article on the type of stuff that I'm doing, because he's got almost 5,000 followers, and the fact that we're having an actual article out there works in everybody's favor. So, he gets views from it, you get views from it. It helps raise your profile. We've got streamers like Kitty. Kitty's great. I'm lucky because I get on really well with Kitty, and we sort of like almost we're at the point where we can sort of like second guess what the other one's thinking. So I've got like a really established relationship with her. There are other Twitch streamers who are all hungry for content. So you just need to find the right ones, contact them, and let them know about what you do. Maybe give some giveaways, and they'll start promoting you. Get to know these people. We saw on the page before, Time Travel on Wax. I've got a great relationship with him because I'm always giving him promos to give away. But more importantly, we discuss what's going on with Drawn Company, and he almost has a say. He's like a stakeholder for me because he's a collector as well. I can go with him with the tough questions and say, what do you think about this? And he gives me the honest answers, so it's not just about marketing with these guys. They can tell you stuff about your project that you don't know. And last of all, Hydro Powered Howard on from the NFT Insider. He's on Discord. You can find him, but he does a drop calendar every week, and everybody can submit a drop to get onto this calendar. And then by submitting the drop, you get tagged by the NFT Insider, and it goes out to 45,000 people. So it's a no-brainer. So engaging influencers, right? Ask the creators who they work with. I don't know all the influencers. I don't know all the streamers, the influencers in the space. You can do your research on Twitter. Who's doing giveaways? Well, if you see someone doing a giveaway, just send them a message and say, "I'll send you some stuff." Simple as that. People are always hungry for content. All I will say is you will get knocked back. You have to be ready to have to pester and pester these people. I'm a serial pesterer, so I'll always get what I want in the end. But someone who's got 45,000 followers, like Time Traveler and the NFT Insider, they're hard to get hold of. So you have to be creative in how you're contacting them. But remember, once you've got an influencer, they're an influencer for life, not just for Christmas. Because you'll be able to build that relationship, build the trust, and sort of like move forward together, which is great. So I'm not going to talk about myself, but if you want to see a good example of how a campaign is run, do your homework and find my first tweet for Karen Burger, which is our NFTOPIA exclusive, which was on the 17th of June. And you'll see all of the things that I'm talking about. I'm doing the basics and tagging, using hashtags. I've got a promo drop going on to increase engagement. I'm doing some freebies to get people into the Discord. It's like a one-stop shop, and I will blow my own trumpet and say that's what I do. That's what I do good. So if you are interested, June the 17th is the date. Just scroll up and see how I built the Karen Burger brand between then and now, because it's quite solid. So I'll see you next week, right? We've got the basics and event logistics with Waffles Kitty, and I'm going to put my money where my mouth is as a marketing supremo, and I'm going to do a takeover live and show you how much fun that can be to sort of like engage the community. give away some free stuff, and also fill up the Discord. So if you are a collector, right, and you want some free stuff, make sure you're here next week, because there will be free stuff and it'll be quite cool. But I'm going to end my screen share now, right? Thanks for putting up with me. Who wants to go next? Who wants to go first?
Yeah, I'd like to recap. That was a lot of info there. A lot of it's very, very good info. But that's the beauty of video recording. So this will be uploaded to YouTube. You guys can study all you want. I want to recap some of this stuff, and also anyone that's here, if you want to pipe in about any of it, then great.
Challenge.
But you started out with the slide design. I kind of whipped through it kind of quick, but yeah. So first off, video versus slides. This is, like, again, stuff we talked about last week too, so you can always also go back and watch the last ones as well. But with a small booth, you can only choose one, the video or the slides. So, and there's different pros and cons to each one. So, and it kind of depends on your project too. If you have a really good trailer, a video, maybe you do want to use it. If you don't, maybe you want to use the slides. But I would say that it is also a pretty big negative of it not having a thumbnail. And we're gonna relay this to Inverse. Inverse is also like always improving and trying to add things and fixing things, and it won't happen in 2 weeks. But maybe at some point we'll have a thumbnail for videos too. Currently, it's only a play button, so that means if people are walking past your booth, they're only seeing your booth's title and the play button, and they don't see like an image on it. So because of that reason alone, maybe you do want the slides instead. And then the first slide is the one that shows up when you're just walking by it. But as far as the slide design itself, you don't want to convolute it. You don't want to fill it with a whole bunch of just text. You got to have some visuals in there, but also enough info to get across what you want. If you have drops, then the perfect thing, like his example of Broken Dolls, have a nice image of it, have a QR code of it. We recommend including the QR code right on the slide, even though you can also put the links inside the booth with the little green buttons, which is fine. Do that too. But if you put a QR code there too, that just makes people, like, it's just a nice call to action. Like, hey, you can scan it right here. And people can do that. If they have their phone, they're on the computer, they just scan their screen and it goes right to on their phone. But also, if it's a drop, I would also use a web link too. So people can also click on it from the web. And yeah, I mean, you want to, like he said, it's an ad. It's like a billboard. You want it to be eye-catching. Keep it simple, stupid, right? That can be applied on a lot of different things. The KISS method. People are simple. People are stupid. A lot of people are not stupid as well. But there's a lot of very simple people out there. And even if they're not simple in general, people don't. It's low attention spans. We're in a social media age here. You want to grab attention quick, and you want to keep it, and you don't want to convolute it. And sometimes it's hard to do, and me too. So it's hard to do sometimes if you have a lot of info you want to get out. But that's the balance of it. And he mentioned also some tips is to just go into the space. We do have the space open right now. I mean, that's what we're all in here. And all the halls are still there that show the NFTOPIA 2 booths. They're going to stay there all the way through this whole week. And then in the last week before the end of the month, that's when the whole thing will be, maybe the whole place will be shut down where you can't even get in it. But either way, the booths are going to be changed and different to all the new ones. But until then, you can go in there and see what all happened last time in April. There's a lot of really good booths, really, really good slides. I was impressed by a lot of them. That you can just get in examples of all different kinds of projects. Maybe you want to find a project that's similar to yours, something in the same category, and go and see what they did and that kind of thing. And also, feel free to ask questions at any time. We're here to help. So if you want to get feedback while you're doing it, if you have some slides made, and even if you don't want to share it publicly or to your fans yet, and you just want to ask us, go ahead and throw it into your private channel in the Discord. And we'll give you some feedback on it. Anything else about slide design? That was a little recap of what you said, but anybody in here in the space before we go to the next topic? And then all right, let me just keep going. Let me recap everything, and then afterward, if anybody wants to like chime in, the whole Twitter marketing, yeah, that's a whole science, isn't it?
Yeah.
And even if you don't dig in as far as like laying out what the algorithm's doing, which is good stuff to know and try to abide by. But even without that, there's a lot of good tips on just how to do Twitter posts and different things. And you covered a lot of good ones here. I think that was very good. Good examples, good visuals with Lembus. That was really good stuff. So anybody that has a wax project or any NFT project, you're going to want to study this stuff, get better at it, study what other people are doing. Twitter is the platform for us to market publicly. You also want to have a Discord or a Telegram as a project. You want that too. You want to direct your fans there, and that's where your community is. That's where you're going to have all your insider info and your communication with with the community is there. But Twitter is the public-facing marketing. That's all we have. I mean, sure, there's threads. Yeah, you can get on threads and start playing around. Like he said, I'm starting too. It's mobile only. It's very limited on features right now, but it's also small on users. So getting in there early might be the better way and starting following people and engaging them. Of course, there's Facebook and Instagram. Some of us do things on everything. Kristaya here with RotaQuest, Consumer Break, we're on all the things, okay? But they don't work well for NFT stuff. Sure, you can post your stuff there and it's free, right? It's free. So in my head, it's like, might as well do it. That, and I've been on Facebook and Instagram before NFTs, so we already had a big stockpile of stuff there. But crypto people they're just not there. They just don't use it. There might be some, but it's not. Twitter is the one that you want to go to and try to really nail down how to do it right and the best way that you can. So study that. And then, yeah, when it comes to the algorithm, he's right. It's open source. The algorithm open source code was released in April. Mr. Musk, he released it. He let everyone know what the algorithm looks for to boost, what it doesn't like, and what he highlighted is good stuff to try to follow. Like he said with the link stuff, it's like, because we promote stuff. Consumer Break is a promotional app. We have different collabs all the time. A new collab every week. We have a new bounty block link every week. We have a Twitch link. So it's like a lot of and then you got drop links and things like that. We're always promoting something because we're a brand. We're a brand page. So it's like we always want to have a call to action and a link to go somewhere. And like he said, even if you have a link in there, it's fine. It doesn't mean it's all end all. It's not like it's going in the trash. But you do want to maybe mind it. You don't have a whole spam of links. Or maybe I've started to try, but I really don't like it. But I've started to not have any links in some tweets. And then you go in the replies and you add the links there. I've seen others do that. Same thing with the tagging and the hashtags. You don't want to overload the thing full of hashtags. I know back in the day we used to do that. Heck, I still do that too sometimes. And, the purpose of that is to get your tweet into those categories. So people that browse those hashtags will see it, and it makes sense. But the algorithm thinks it's spam. So you just want to keep it kind of light. Definitely have hashtags, the most relevant ones. Definitely have them. But maybe you don't want a paragraph of hashtags. Maybe you want that in a reply, or to do things differently, because you don't want the algorithm to hate you. Then, like he said, like likes. Granted, I still push for likes, comments, and retweets. We have our bounty blocks that require those things, and you know what? That helps. It helps. If you do giveaway, if you have a lot of NFTs to give away, do giveaways. Run your own. Bounty Block is an amazing tool for that. It does all the work for you. You can create your contests, do what you want. You can require people to do the Twitter actions. And then collabing too. If you have a lot of giveaways, NFTs that you want to give away for promos, Wax is perfect for those types of collabs. It doesn't even have to be a full-on collaboration like a themed drop, or like with our puzzle games or with streams. Those are some more in-depth collabs, which we also love. Here at NFTOPIA, there's a lot of that going on too. But even just a giveaway collab is something that Wax creators do a lot of. You always see a collab bounty block or something to where you have a big group of prizes that are all in this big thing, and then we're all sharing it together. Keep in mind that there's a lot of people that are only entering those things for the goodies. There, a lot of them aren't going there and then clicking on your links to look at your links and stuff. But it is a little ad. It is there. Your logo's there, and then the winners, the NFTs are ads by themselves, especially if they're promos, right? Get NFTs into people's wallets. That's the way he said it. So especially if they're promo type NFTs, that is your ad. So whenever it goes into the wallets of the winners, that's an ad. If they actually won, then they may. Granted, they still might not, but at least then it's in their wallet and be like, okay, now I actually won something. Now it's mine. Let's see what it is. Especially if your NFT did good, was used as a promo, then great. Then hopefully the links are in the attributes, or whatever info you want is on the NFT and whatnot.
Just me cut in there quickly, right? With the sort of like you are right. If you do a giveaway, the majority of people aren't going to be interested. However, it's all about pushing yourself out there, and then you can use what's called the 80-20 rule, which is if I give away 100 NFTs, I'm gonna have 80 people who are just there for the giveaway. I'm then gonna have 20% of people, 20 in this case, who are maybe interested or I've caught their eye. Then if we do the 80-20 on the 20, we get down to 4, right? So I should be able to convert 4 people, which isn't bad. It's not a bad return on that. So when I've just done a giveaway with a badge for Karen Burger. I've capped it at 100. I know I'm going to get 4 new buyers out of that just through the rules of the 80-20 rule, because I'll give away loads. You've got to kiss a lot of frogs, but you'll eventually find your prince. Not that any of my collectors are frogs. They might be, but I haven't got evidence of that.
Yeah. Is that a Pepe reference?
It might well be.
Exactly. It can be applied in many different ways. Cast a net and you catch a few. It's just like advertising. Anything, any kind of ads is the same. It's called, there's terminology for all of it, but an X percentage of people that will see your stuff might be into your stuff. 80-20 is a decent rule to go by, even though 20% is quite a big number for some categories like ads. 20% of retention from an advertisement is really, really, really good. But that's the same kind of net that you would get with a collab giveaway. It's depending also who else is in the giveaway. So if there's bigger projects in there, then you're going to get more visibility with those people. How do you get into these types of collabs? Well, once again, you need to just network and build relationships. So when I started a year ago and I didn't know anybody and I didn't know stuff, yes, you can just cold message projects and ask, hey, do you want to collab? And hey, there are a lot of projects that are okay with that, and they'll look, at the very least they'll look at what you have to offer, and if you are a legit project, it's not hard for projects to give some giveaways to make a collab, but also people don't like to be spammed, and if you don't have much info about your stuff, if you're newer, if you don't have much of a community or a presence yet, it's going to be a lot harder to collab. You know how that goes. That's like the bigger project you try to collab with, the harder it's going to be for you. So if I'm over here trying to get with a project that has 1 million downloads, it's going to be really rough to do that. Don't go for those ones with 100,000 followers. I mean, you can try to be a serial marketer like Drawn here, but especially if you're new, if you just started a collection and you're trying to, and you're just getting started, go for the smaller projects that are in your range. Not necessarily brand new too, but the ones that are willing to work with anybody like that, and show them what you have to offer too. Like don't come at it like some random one trying to just benefit from their audience. In a way, that's what you're doing, but no, it's you're building a relationship and you're creating a collab. That's what it is. It's a collaboration. Both of you should be benefiting. So the other party should also be seeing, hey, this is a benefit for me too. We can both pull in our prizes. We can both market it, and that's how the way it works. How do you network with these people? Well, the beautiful the wonderful thing is with Wax is that the community and the creators are already doing that so much more than other places and other chains. So this right here where we're at is the perfect place to do such a thing, these conventions, because you can directly talk to them right in through voice and through text and network that way. But even without that, you want to hit up your influencers. There's it's kind of a niche group. It's not like it's a whole bunch of Wax influencers. You can find them and watch their stuff. They're streamers. I'm a streamer. It's Consumer Break. And then you got Neon Space and BDAO and NFT Gamer TV and some others. Just watch their streams, and that's how you meet people. A lot of times they're gonna have projects on their streams, so that's a way for you to learn about them and things like that. And then once you do that, I would also recommend reaching out to those streamers more than even for a giveaway, like he said, because a lot of them will do giveaways, and if you want to give your NFTs for them to chill out in their stream, or like even if it's just a quick Grubfish giveaway without getting like a promo of it, you can do that. Once again, though, just try to be personable. Don't try to be spammy, and especially if it's a brand new collection, because we know that there's a lot of scammers out there, and there's a lot of bad actors that are trying to scam people, and the influencers are they don't like that stuff. So we do our own research as well, and whenever you talk to an influencer and you want to promote your project, they're going to do the research on your project. If they see you have a nice active community and there's no red flags or signs, then they're probably likely to talk to you, and at the very least might accept your giveaways. And at the most, you should get an interview with them. So if you're at a position where you have a little community and a Twitter and a collection started, and especially if you're talking to them and they're acknowledging you, ask them for an interview. That's actually how I started before I was twitching, before I was interviewing. That's how our collection got to the next level. We spent months just doing our own thing, which was a good thing too, to learn about your own collection and strategies. Something we talked about last week, by the way, your drop strategies and stuff like that. But then it took me actually watching Wax streamers, asking to be on their stream. Next thing you know, now I have friends, Wax friends. I'm on their stream. I'm talking about my stuff. There's a few people in the stream. They like what I'm talking about. They join. Next thing you know, we got us a little community going. I'm watching more streams. People know the name. Get your name out there, you know. And then now we have Collab City. It was easy to do collabs. We've been doing collaborations every week since. Now, for me, it's not drops. For me, it's a lot quicker to do a puzzle game the way we do our collabs. It takes more effort and time to do like a special drop. But the point is, they're here to help and do things together. That's a beautiful thing I've found in Wax is the projects don't see you as competition. They see you as collaboration over competition. They see their users and their buyers as just collectors in general, and we can mix and match. Collectors love that. Collectors watch streams and they attend events like this to learn about new stuff so they can go check those. They like to be a part of everything. So unlike traditional brands or maybe even ETH chain or other places where they might see that as competition. Like, because then I don't want my buyers going to you and buying your stuff. That's not what it's like here on Wax. Not at all. It's all love and all helping each other, because when you grow, when Wax grows, we all grow. So whenever this project grows, if they're bringing in new people, then that's good. Maybe they'll funnel over to my way because it's a collab, right? Maybe it'll funnel over this way. And Wax in general, if that's growing users, then we're all happy. So that's kind of the mindset that you need to have to be a successful Wax project. Do your marketing right, your Twitter. Try to build relationships and collabs. And once again, this type of convention is just a great place to do it. So yeah, that wrapped up quite a bit what you said. There might be some even more, but anybody here, now's a good time to. Actually, Waffles and Peter, you guys were going to do some things, so why don't we move on to that? That's a good recap.
Yeah,
of
let's
everything.
move on, and then we'll have more stuff to unpack afterwards. So, should we get Peter to go next? Our real life Batman.
Did you want to screen share, or did you just want to talk? Because you can do either one.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I can definitely go next. I I can do a screen share. I'm actually in the inverse space right now. Should I just do a screen share through the inverse? Or should I
No,
go
better
through...
yet is I have a link right here, Video Ninja link in the chat. And if you can click that to another browser window and connect your screen share, then I will import it right into my Twitch, and people can watch the Twitch. That'll work.
And so then the option I want is screen share with room, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Awesome.
Any other questions? Throw them in the chats, y'all, about everything we talked about, or opinions or anything. Throw them in the chat. Throw them in the chat.
Let's see.
So just whilst he's getting prepared, Peter runs a project called Aesthetic Monte, which is a sort of like a heavily graphically based project. But he's recently, and this is where the Batman reference comes in, started a new project, which is really exciting. So I think he's going to tell us a bit about that today.
Oh, great. Yeah, I want to learn about a new project. That's what I'm talking about. We just talked about that. There you go. Yeah, I got you on the screen. You're welcome to go for it.
Awesome.
Take it away.
Yeah, thanks so much, Matt, for having me, and Consumer Break, Waffles Kitty. Always appreciate what you guys got going on. So NFTOPIA 3 is definitely coming up, and the community is definitely excited for it. So yeah, Matt mentioned earlier that we talked last night, and just kind of last minute asked me to come over and just give some explanation on what our creative approach was for the Simians project. And so I can kind of jump into that. So the Simians project kind of came from an ownership of an asset from the WARC. So the Wax, Ape, Rave Club really was inspired from another collector and creator, Lemmy, who's running the Smokers side project, and really trying to think about how we could extend the community on the Ape side. So the Ape that I happened to pull just happened to be wearing a cycling cap, and with the cycling cap came Simian. So Simian being just another word for ape, and now that becomes our identity for the pedal emporium that we've started to develop. So Matt asked us to, come over and talk through our approach on the creative side, a little bit of marketing and how we launched that project, and then actually sold it out, I think in a day and a half or so, which is pretty cool. So yeah, go ahead and go through the next slide then. I don't know if I can control that. Can I control that or?
Well, your screen, that's your PowerPoint, right?
Yeah, it's your screen share.
Okay, let's see. Where do I do that?
You ought to hit just a slide and then view show.
Oh, I see. Yep, I need to go to the actual thing here. Okay, here we go.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Cool. Is that full screen now?
Yeah.
Awesome. All right, so yeah, I got like 20 slides. I'll try to get through them as fast as possible. Pulling a little Matt here with
no worries.
So a little bit about myself. I appreciate that introduction, Matt. I'm a graphic designer by trade, so I've got 10 years of professional experience being in predominantly the marketing industry. So anywhere from startups to traditional agencies, working through marketing on the graphic side. So working with teams of graphic designers and building different digital assets and initiatives that way. So think about what a professional graphic designer would be. That's kind of what my forte is. I'm really passionate about building great products that bring joy to people, which is what kind of brought me into the Wax community. A little bit of slide on what my expertise are. Of course, graphic design is the biggest bubble here. Creative direction, also something that I've been doing, marketing, and then a little bit of Wax blockchain. So that's more on the creative side, less on the dev side. So we're definitely working with devs to get projects off the ground. So a little bit of what does Simian look like, and thinking about building a project from the ground up. So again, this was spurred from just owning an ape, and then using that the ability to have full ownership of that asset. So I think that's a very important key to these PFP projects that are out there, and what does that actually mean? How could you use that identity of the ape to build a community around? And there's actually been some interesting things that I've discovered with that little bit of data that's in the asset. So apparently Atomic Hub's not allowing any of those visuals to be published on the chain. So if you're owning, there's several out there, the wolves are out there, the bulls are out there, the apes are out there. And I think a lot of those projects are giving ownership and IP rights to owners. However, if you wanted to use any of those assets, and I have a couple of examples actually here in the slide, if you wanted to use any of those assets on chain, it's going to be flagged. So just be forewarned. However, you can use those outside of the chain. So you can print them on t-shirts and coasters and cups and whatever else you want to possibly create. So just a little bit of an insight that I've learned trying to get this project whitelisted over the last week. So identity. So what we did was, again, as a graphic designer, I immediately think about what does this brand or project look like. So the Simians, I've developed a little bit of an identity structure here. And this is totally open to the community. So I want them to use it, develop their own creative around their cycling capped apes. And so, that's the next initiative, is to try to get the community to start building visuals around their identities, their apes. So they have open source to this. Everyone can use it. That's in the community. And then just thinking about your own project, like what does your logo look like? What does your colors look like? And how does that speak to the bigger brand, if there is one? So then marketing, what does marketing look like for us? Again, we just launched this project this last week. And so we've been marketing it for probably a week and a half to 2 weeks, I believe. And so just diving in super high level, what does that look like for us? And so straight away, we want to start to build some sort of visual narrative, not necessarily giving sneak peeks yet to what the art's going to be like on the chain. So whether it's packs or cards or stickers or whatever it is that you're building, our thoughts are to create that visual narrative. And of course, our narrative is the bike shop, right? So it's about cycling. And so we went directly to fixing bikes possibly, or maintaining bikes. So this is what you see here. So Gear Up is one of our campaign slogans. And then you've got some branding here, and of course, always pointing back to the ape here. So this is the ape that I own. This is Alpha 2659. That's the name that I've given him, and that comes to life here in the story, as you see. So Alpha 2659 now becomes the branded asset to be the face of Simian. And then we created all these different assets for the community to use on their backgrounds and to hype up the project. Then we've got the pack art. And this is also, marketing that we share predominantly on Twitter. Like it was mentioned, that Twitter is probably the biggest platform that we could use for Web3. And this is actually a really good example of the pack that was designed and then it was kind of rejected, or was rejected on the Atomic Hub side when we were trying to get whitelisted. So this is a good example of using the asset. So we've used the actual ape graphic on the background of the pack art, and they asked us to change that. So we got to change that in order to get whitelisted and get those badges. So become more of an official project on Atomic Hub. And then the marketing going forward, like moving the project forward, and what does it look like, the mechanics, if you will. So again, sharing this stuff visually as simple as possible on Twitter is going to help your project and get people excited about it. I like to develop projects that are about collecting, because that's kind of where I'm at as a collector. I like to do digital collecting. So that's, for us, it's unpacking packs, and in the pack you get some sort of collection of items. In this case, there are stickers. And then in this case, you would blend stickers to obtain what we call the staking sticker. So there's a series of stickers that you need to collect and then go and claim by blending the staking sticker. So that's the project there, from pack to claim, unpack, blend, and then claim. And then this is a little bit of a screenshots on what does that look like implemented on Twitter. So you can go and check out our Twitter feed, Simian Wax Apes on Twitter, and Aesthetic Monte, of course. We'll be retweeting all that stuff as well. It's kind of the umbrella company, if you will. And so this is kind of what it looks like on live feeds. And then some of the other marketing visuals that we've started to create around the drop as well. And then I wanted to talk a little bit about advertising. So advertising to us is a little bit different. It's still marketing, but it's not necessarily like showing art for the assets or the drop, but really trying to be a little bit more creative and visual to bring people in, get people excited and talking about the product, possibly even retweeting and sharing on their social feeds. So again, taking the initiative of jumping off from the bike shop and then overlaying, of course, the ape. That's Alpha 2659 here that we're using as a visual aid. Again, speaking to the ape project and the bike shop, the pedal emporium. And then just a couple of different examples here. So, thinking about just what people are going to be drawn to. And really it comes from my style. So I've seen a couple things out in the wild where I'm like, oh, this is really cool. I can really flip that and then make it into some sort of visual for the project. So that's kind of what you're seeing here as an example. And then the drop. So the actual drop was done on FD Blocks. And like I mentioned, it was sold out. So we did 500 packs, and each one of those packs had 2 assets in them. There was a series of 5 assets to be collected. And as a result of that, both the Aesthetic Monte project and the Simian project were on the top collections this week, which is pretty cool. We literally just got whitelisted, I think Tuesday, and I think the drop went Wednesday. And so we got some really nice exposure there, which is pretty cool. And then the mechanics. I wanted to go into a little bit of what the mechanics were of the project. So like I mentioned, it was packs, and in the packs were assets, and those assets were giving you ownership roles in Discord. So we use Discord as our mechanic system, and in that world, the Discord world, we developed these 5 different rooms, and in those 5 different rooms, once you own the asset for that referenced one of these 5, then it would unlock that room, and then you can go in there and create your bots. And so it looks like this. You use the bot command, and then we created all this original art to go over your existing ape. And so, initially our thought was to just make it for cycling cap apes. And after a couple of days of thinking about it, I really decided to just, an executive decision to just open it up to the whole ape community, which I thought was really a good move for the first Simian project, to just get everybody involved. So not making it exclusive yet, but more inclusive, and get everybody kind of creating these different images, which was actually a good move. So this is the non-ape cycling cap wearing asset, but he's using this Simian assets on top, which is a really good look. The website, this is kind of a key thing. I don't know if I've heard that in the last couple of presentations, just how key a website is. We are in Web3. We talk about Web3, but Web2 is still a huge part of exposure and the everyday life of people. So we still are using Web2. And so this is the Aesthetic Monte website. Feel free to dig around and pop in and look over there. I've created a section for Simians, and Simian has 2 sections. They have the story. So we've developed a story around Alpha 2659, the world that he lives in, which is what we call Neo Vio. So go and give that a look and read about the lore of Alpha 2659. We've also started to document those images that were generated from that last drop. So we've got what we call the freshman yearbook of all those assets. So really thinking about how we can possibly turn this into a physical piece, maybe an actual yearbook to celebrate and document that project. Last couple slides here. contact me, you can always reach me at Simeon Wax Apes on Twitter, and also the Aesthetic Monte account there. And then lastly, this is a little bit of a Matt and I inside joke, but definitely get in. NFTOPIA 3 is coming up. Wax blockchain, we're here to create and generate some really great communities around art. So that's it for me, guys. I appreciate it. And any questions, I'm definitely open to answer.
Fantastic. Thank you very much for that. Yeah, you have good points too. And right near the end, I just want to piggyback on that. That's right. Every project should have a website, y'all. I feel like it's common sense. But you don't have to, though. I've seen projects that don't have a website. They'll have a link tree to their socials. But a lot of people, they like to, if they don't know what your thing is, they want a central something to learn about your project. If it's laid out really well in your Discord, that I've seen that, and that's fine. But making a website isn't hard anymore. You don't have to code. You can just use a platform that build your own website creator. That's still what I do. I'm not a coder, and I use Squarespace for our website. You can go further, or it doesn't have to be your own URL. Heck, NFTOPIA is a Weebly site, and that works. It's fine. As long as it's there, you can edit it and put what you want on there and present your project and have all your links on your website. So if possible, I would also agree that you should have a website. But until that point, use a link tree or something that you can tag into your Twitter. Put your link tree in your Twitter. Make sure your collection link is in there. If you have drops on NFT Blocks or NFT Hive, put those in there. Put your Discord in there. Everything for people to find you want to have in some kind of central location. And then I also want to say that you have really good graphics visuals for explaining how the project works, which is also something we didn't really touch on. We're talking about promotion, but as a project, you should make it clear on how your project works. If it's super complicated, you're going to probably need a white paper, especially if it's a game and if you have token. You're probably going to want a white paper. If it's not that advanced, you might not need that, but you're going to want to have some kind of visual. If it's a blend combination type of project, which is a lot of us, just a simple graphic like you just showed, like, hey, it's this one makes that one, and then this one is the one that you want, and here's the utilities for it. Anything like that gets a nice little visual of what you have going on. So that's as quickly as possible, at least the very general basis of it, to where if somebody new was going to go find you on Twitter and click on your website, they can see right there, oh, okay, this is what the art looks like. This is their blend setup, and this is what it is. So I think that was all done well, and appreciate you making a slideshow for it as well.
Yeah, thanks for that. And I only dropped that on him last night.
Oh, wow, that's even better then. Even more impressive.
So that's
cool.
That's brilliant. And I think for me, it shows the versatility of what we do. Before the ape drop, you might have considered doing something like that, but it's just a good case study of where you've seen something that's successful and thought, I can add value here, and I can really add something to the community. And that's why I invited you to do this, because we get so stuck in the fact that I'm Drawn Company and Consumer Break is Consumer Break, but we don't need to think like that. Aesthetic Monte is Aesthetic Monte, and you've found an opportunity and you've exploited it. And just look at that. We're talking about whitelisting within 7 days, and you're now a top collection on NFT Blocks. And as a consequence, your bread and butter collection is also now a top collection on NFT Blocks. So it's just a no-brainer. So thank you for coming along and sharing that.
That's great points. Even if you already have a project, no one says you can't open another little side project. Now, some people don't like teams that have a whole bunch of projects, but we're not talking about huge games here. If it's something manageable for a person, then if you have a new idea and if it doesn't match inside your project, then maybe you do just want to make a whole new collection. You can still be the face of it, like he says. It's still him, and he's just running both, and it's fine. And then here is an example of an idea where he took another collection and make a subset of that, which is great for these PFPs. That's a great way to add more community and utility and things to the traits. It's a pretty cool idea for any whatever. If there's already a little, and I know the wax apes are doing that, so if there's already a little community started around the traits, the cigar hole, the ones with the cigarette or whatever the traits, and you want to make a little extra something around that, that's not a bad idea, or whatever it may be. The point is, you don't got to be locked in. We're creators. We create what we want. So if you have an idea that doesn't really match what's in yours, you can just create a new one and do that.
And as well, then we'll move on to waffles. I think, you might have touched on it there a bit, but all you're doing is having conversations with people, aren't you? Essentially, Peter, at the start, you're just saying, "Oh, I've got this idea. What do you think about this?" And then that person is, in this case, saying yes, and that's great. You're moving forward with it. But that's all you're doing. You're reaching out and you're saying, "I think we can do this. What do you think about it?" In this case, they've said yes, and there we go. We're going towards the moon.
Exactly. That goes back to community, listening to your community and what they want. If they have suggestions and updates and improvements for what you're doing, listen to them and build based on that. That's the beauty of Web3 and how it really works this way. And then same thing for a new project. Maybe you probably don't want to just start something just because of an idea you had and just go for it. You're going to want to ask. And if there's people that want it and would be a part of it before you even do it, that's like with any product. That's startup 101. You want to do your research ahead of time and make sure that there are customers or fans or whatever that ahead of time, and then now, okay, I want to fill this. Then if no one else is going to do it and I'm able to do it, then maybe I'll do it. But you're still interacting with them like from the get-go. So it's even better if you got them ahead of time and they're like, yeah, I would be part of this if it was real. Then they're already your fans. They're already your buyers before you even started. So then whenever you do start it, you can release it to them. They'll tell you what they'll start using it, and it'll be a community already. At least even a small one, even if it's a group of friends, you're gonna listen to them. They're gonna tell you their feedback and what they think they can do, or what would be better. And it's just growing together. It does take that builder to kind of lead it, or a group of builders. But yeah, anyone can do it. Anyone can do it if you put in the effort, the time, and hopefully the art too, the talent. But and then if you don't have that art, talent, or other things, if you need help, if you can't manage it alone, then maybe you do want to partner with somebody too. Maybe you have a friend or two as part of that same community that wants it. And we're like, hey, let's partner up. Let's do it together, and let's set up something. It's whatever people want to do. If you're worried about like if responsibilities and you think that person like really like you want to set guidelines and rules for your project and that sort of thing, you can do that too. Like you just make contracts. Like it's not hard. You don't have to have a company. You don't need to set up an LLC to do a project. That it's something good to do once you're already established and and that kind of thing, taxes, blah blah. But just to start something out, don't form a company. Just start. And if you're working with multiple people and you're not diehard friends that it's just whatever we say goes, and you want to make it more professional, just set up a little contract, a little independent contract. Use Simple Sign or DocuSign, something online, and it can work. It doesn't have to be as hard as some people might think it is. You don't have to get lawyers in and stuff. So you just kind of work together and create. Work together and create.
Right then, right. Should we bring on Waffles? Because I know she's on the edge of her seat. And I'm very conscious that we've been here for an hour and 20 minutes.
That's right. Well, we've been keeping these sessions 2 hours, so it's
hey, you know what?
Cool.
There's just so much to talk about. That's why.
Oh, it's just like, it's crazy, isn't it?
We love
it's great because this is exactly that. When I started doing this was the dream, to be able to get people who would be reliable and actually turn up and bring their own perspective. So we had the awesome Peter with his simians, Batman, but now we're going to introduce Waffles Kitty, who's going to tell us a bit about her experience.
Sure.
Go for it.
So, so I've been planning to do this, and people have been talking about this to me since previous DigiCon. So it's been at least over a year being planned, and then things kept getting in the way. But what actually sparked me in starting this collection finally was that I actually got hacked in April this year. And then after that, I was like, wow, I just feel really bad about myself, but I also feel like that shouldn't stop me from doing things that I want to do. So I was very humbled about it, about the whole experience, and I reached out to a bunch of people in the community that helped give me all the information that I needed. Brown Company helped me with doing animations and suggested a lot of things, especially in building a little bit of my marketing plan and how to, like what we talked about last week, like how we value our project, our collection, how we're going to price everything, how we're going to lay everything out. And he said, don't look at me, don't look at solely me as inspiration. You got to look at other people, like, look at Consumer Break, look at Segmonty, look at Crypto Monkeys, look at all these other folks, right, that are creating their own things. What are the different ways that they distinguish themselves? What works? What doesn't work? What do you think they have to say? And what they would advise for me to do? And for me, I'm one of those people that wants to do everything. But John Company was like, all right, Sarah, you got to just focus on one thing. Don't get too crazy here. I also, right after I figured that I wanted to start the project, he's like, let's talk about it like another week. And then after that week, I think we still need more time. So I think, sometimes it's so hard because you want to just like, all right, let's do it. Let's do all this stuff. And then like, boom, boom, boom. But like, sometimes like that will, you might make like mistakes along the way, and you want to minimize as much as possible. Common mistakes like spelling mistakes or forgetting to copy and paste something in a description or a field, stuff like that. So I know I didn't want to go through every single thing that I went to during this whole process. So I'm just gonna go through a couple of the slides that I made for NFTOPIA and that I'm going to make
Cool.
as well. So just like a tiny little bit about me, when I am like as an artist, where I'm located, some of my hobbies, just so that it puts a face to the project. And I think transparency is like a big thing for projects, especially in Web3, because sometimes you don't know exactly who you're working with. You want to know you're working with somebody that they're not afraid to show their face and just like actually own up and be there for the project. So that's one of the reasons why like I don't hide my name, I don't hide my face and stuff like that for my project. I haven't filled out this yet, but this is going to be the NFTOPIA specific schedule I'm going to have. I'm also going to do a collab with Consumer Break too. I was kind of sending him an idea earlier today, actually during this NFTOPIA school. So it's blank for now, but it's good to have something on your slide at NFTOPIA that talks about, let's say, when are the times that you'll be available at your booth. If there's any activities that you're trying to plan, this would be something important to have on the booth so that people know when to chime in. Not only that is making sure NFTOPIA staff have your information so that they can put it onto the schedule, the official schedule, which if you're inside of the metaverse, you'll see it at the top right hand corner. And that will usually pop up once your event is close. And there's no shame in having events at the same time as other vendors or exhibitors at the event, because sometimes you want to go to one or not the other. And it's like a general conference. Sometimes you just got to pick where you want to be first and then figure out how to prioritize everything. And so, yeah, there's that too. Um, so here's some things that I have on my schedule currently. I just finished the whitelist access for my last 3 stickers in my collection for now. And I listed the public listing recently as well in the following week, which, or actually I have to do that in the next week. So that's all prepared and ready to go. And then I have a couple other things. So a really cool thing about having this like a mini calendar or something, is not only do you have content to post on social media, you also use it to create hype around what's going to happen next. Here's some of my other plans. I definitely want to do more collab work. I also, since I finished making the first 10 stickers of my collection, I'm working on VIRL stuff. So that's most likely going to be actual stickers. So I started a sticker collection, and now I want to be like, all right, now I want to send people actual stickers. I think I actually have one right here. One sec. I remember I just received it in the mail. I have a couple of my original stickers right here. I don't know if you could see it. Right here. But anyways, I plan to make a drop where anyone who's holding the stickers, they will get a VIRL version of it. So that's something to look forward to in the future. Just kind of been planning that. I'm also working on making posters and working on a coloring book. And like I said, I want to do everything. So, woo, thank you. Thank you, Nessie. Thank you. We had what? We had a party of 15 come in. Thank you so much. I'm Waffles Kitty. I have an individual project where I have NFT stickers, and I'm also working on VIRL and some other digital content. So that's some of the things that you'll be seeing at this upcoming NFTOPIA. So definitely chime in, come in at the end of this month. Uh, it's on July 28th to 30th, 21st, 24th, 3 open conference space. So be sure to check that out.
Nice. I just realized I was muted into the Twitch when I
Woo,
said
hi,
that.
hi.
Whoops! But welcome, Raiders. Welcome, Raiders. We're at NFTOPIA School. We're learning about creators and exhibitors, and we have Waffles Kitty doing a presentation right now. We're an hour and a half in, but we'll still be here for another half hour. So there's not really giveaways on this stream. It's for learning. Anybody's welcome to come over to bit.ly/NFTOPIA3 and hang out with us and chime in as well.
Yep, that's
All right, carry on.
Yes. So some other things that I'm working on. I have a Redbubble store, but I was actually thinking about closing it because the fees were just like the profit margin was just so low. But I haven't found something quite like it yet, and I do want to give people the possibility to get my designs on different products. So I still have it for now. And my July August calendar, I have a couple other things going on. Like I mentioned, in August, I'll have VRL sticker pre orders open, and then hype for a new collection. I'm trying to work on um, more stuff that have to do with making sure I am always creating. So that will include maybe blends or like packs, and of course more collaborations. So that's some exciting things to think about in the future. I'm also considering doing a PFP project. So that's a new challenge for me, but also it's something that's really fun. And I'll be collecting responses from the community just to ask, okay, what would they like to see? Because, like as Segmati said before, and as many other people have said prior, it's about listening to the community, like what Lembus was doing, right? So there's that. Also, I have a slide at my booth for drops. This is what I actually had at the last event for NFTOPIA. We had a bunch of magic potions. And this is like something that really draws in people to visit the booth and click on your links. It's eye catching. It's simple. Like what were the acronyms again, John, for KISS?
Keep it
It was like
simple. Keep it simple, stupid.
yes, that was.
Yep.
So yeah,
Sorry, I
something
was
that's
muted.
really simple messaging. Then obviously I have my Linktree link, and then how people can reach me, stuff like that on the socials and yeah. And then we mentioned a little bit about the Nouveau code. Um, if you have a Nouveau code at your booth, it also boosts people going through all of your sites so that they can find that QR code so that they can boost themselves up on the leaderboard. So there's that as well. That's the end of my presentation here. I know I kept it like really short, but I want to have some time for people to ask any questions, or if there's anything that they want to talk about that we've gone over during this NFTOPIA school session. I want to give some time for that as well. If anybody on the stream has any questions, or anybody that's inside of the space now, go ahead and type it in or chime in.
Yeah. Let's recap a little bit of the things you said. Yeah, a couple pointers. So if you a slide that says when you're going to be there, that's not a bad idea. Especially if you're going to be there at set times that you already know of, or like the social blocks that we have planned, those 3-hour blocks. Maybe you do want a slide that just says, "Hey, I'll be right here at this day and time. If anybody wants to come over and ask questions," or maybe you want to run your own type of event. Make sure, and we also encourage that too. If any exhibitor wants to run their own event of any kind, an AMA event, I know that our streamed AMAs, they're already all sold out, and they're taking much of the weekend other than the social blocks. But you are welcome to create your own events, whether it's during the social block, which I would recommend, so we have the more the better. But even outside of that time, if it happens during one of the streamed AMAs, that's still totally allowed and fine. Let us know when it is. We'll put it onto the schedule, like she said, so at least people can see it. And if people want to go there instead of the live streamed one, then great, you do that. If you have a stream, or if you want to connect with a streamer to stream it, even better. But it's there. And then also make sure that you do the same for your drops. If you have a drop during the weekend, July 28th through the 30th, put it on, for sure put it on the slide. That's obvious. Come on. At least have one slide that has your drop and what it is and with a link. Make sure you tell us too. Give us the link, give us the info in Discord into your private channel, and we'll go ahead and put it into a special drops booth that's in this room, in the welcome area. We're going to have a booth that has all the live drops of the weekend. So if you do that, make sure to give us that link and you'll get thrown right up in there. But as far as your collection too, that was how you started. You're like, because you only started in April, and then it's like, when you did start, you wanted to do so many things. Talking about Waffles Kitty and her presentation here, she wanted to do so many things, and as a new creator, drawing companies advising her not to go overboard. And this is something I'm super guilty of over the years. I always have ideas and things that I want to do, and I want them to be there. And I'm always gung-ho about like working hard and whatnot. But then a lot of times the things that I wanted, oh man, they're pretty hard to achieve, the things that I want based on the timeline, you know? And you want to think about these things, schedule things out, and don't think that what you have planned in your head is going to be what you end up with. This is a big mistake for startups. And I learned also in a hard way too, you want to listen to your community and your users. You want to start small, give them teasers, even if it's actual drops and stuff. All right, great. But when you continue, you want to build off of what you're doing, how it's working, drop by drop. Sure, you can plan a whole season and things. This is also, you want to plan as much as you can, but don't put everything in one basket and like try to achieve everything just because it's an idea you had. Make sure you're asking for some feedback from other creators or from your community, and then see if you can space it out in a way you can manage, because we all have our own lives as well. If you're not making money on NFTs, which most of us are not, especially on wax, you have to be really, really big to make any kind of money that can replace a job. So we're all out here working our day jobs too, and we have families, and you don't want to get to a space where you're too drawn down, and that's kind of where I am a lot, and I'm working on that. But you don't want to get pigeonholed into that spot where now you're committed to doing things that you thought were possible, but now it's just way over in your head. So just keep that in mind. Try to balance it, especially if you're new and you're just trying things. Just start small. Start with a little drop or something, and go from there. Go with the community. Go from there. Go ahead.
Sorry. No, and that's exactly what it was great, because when I was mentoring Waffles, it was like mentoring my teenage self, because yeah,
I can see that myself too. It's like mentoring my old self. It's the same kind of thing. Yeah.
It was great because there was lots of enthusiasm, and we started off with lots of great ideas. But the one thing, and I had to get this straight with Waffles from the start, was because when I go into sort of like that mode, I'll be quite almost cold. I turned around to Sarah and I said, "Look, right, I'm going to ask you to just, all you need to do is sleep on this now, and we're going to come back tomorrow, and you're going to give me your answer."
I
And
was
whatever
gonna
your
tell
answer
him, how
is,
dare you tell me to sleep, because that's not even part of the Web3 like dictionary.
Yeah, we don't do that around here. Oh.
Go and lie down in bed for 10 minutes, and then tell me your answer. But like that was the big thing, wasn't it? Like I was sort of like, just I'm not going to tell you what the right answer is. I've given you what my opinion is. I've told you to go and ask other people, but just sleep on it before we make that decision, because we were making decisions that could have potentially had ramifications throughout what Waffles was trying to do. And it doesn't even matter if Waffles comes to the same conclusion that she had before, but at least she took the time to think about it before she moved on.
Yeah.
And that's a very important lesson for everybody, I think, is let's just take a step back, right? We've got loads of ideas, but is this manageable? And sorry, I will slip into a bit of drawn company here, but it's like with Karen Burger that I'm doing as my NFTOPIA exclusive drop, bit of a plug, right? I'm doing it as a startup edition because it's a big thing. It's not very complicated. I've got big ideas for it in the future, but I'm testing it, and then if it works, we'll move on. If it doesn't work, we'll just put it to bed and go with something else, right? But that's the key, is that, like, I had so many ideas and just have to bring it down to what do I need to do to get people interested in this drop, and what's not what's the minimum, but how do I not overcomplicate it, because it is quite complicated. And I've come to a real good balance there by just taking a bit of time out to just think about what I'm doing. Do you know what I mean? Looking at the bigger picture.
Yeah. Yeah, and to go with that a little bit too, it's not only about being too overloaded. It's not only about that. It's about getting feedback from others to improve your vision. So last in April, and maybe we'll talk about next session too. But you talked about a partner. What was the name? A buddy? What would you call it? The buddy that you're spitballing with? Didn't you have a name?
Mentor.
A mentor?
No, so it depends. No, so sorry. That's called peer learning. So just like peer-to-peer learning. So finding someone who you can bounce ideas off with,
yeah.
and more importantly, becoming accountable to. So saying, I've got this idea, and then you turn around to me, if we were peer-to-peer sort of like networking, you would turn around and say, okay, what are you going to do with that idea in the next 7 days? How are you going to progress that? And then you would hopefully come back to me after we'd had a discussion and turn around and say, okay, you told me you were going to do this last week. What have you done towards that goal?
Sure, and that's an accountability thing, but yeah. Even just for feedback alone, like, hey, I have an idea. This is something that I want to do for this, whether it's my entire collection, like my whole vision, or if it's just this one thing I want to do. Just before you go and start doing it, ask somebody. If you have the community there, then ask them, unless you don't want to spoil something. But otherwise, get a buddy. You can. It can be a friend that's in the space. It could even be one of us. If you want to just DM me or Matt, just for feedback, we'd be happy to give feedback. My number one buddy is Puzzled Puzzler. And so we talk a lot of, anytime I have an idea about what we're doing, I throw it, and then here for NFTOPIA too. I mean, anytime we've did anything and we had ideas, we throw it down into the group chat, and then the others can comment on it. And when you have a friend like Puzzled, who's very constructive, criticizing everything in a constructive way, but it's not a yes man. So that's something to kind of keep in mind too. If you have a good friend of yours that you show this, especially if they're not in the space, all right? If I'm showing something to my roommate, most likely he's going to be like, oh, that's cool, that's awesome. You want somebody that is more into the space that's going to criticize it. You want them to pick it apart without offending you, but that way you see that other perspective that you didn't think about. And Puzzle does this to me a lot. She'll bring things up that I didn't quite think about that way. And then at least then you can take a little moment to think about it more. And whether you want to change it or remove it, it's at least you have that other opinion to help you do it.
Yeah, 100%. Like, especially with Karen Berger, I've sent stuff to Peter, and I've said Peter, because he's really good aesthetically, he's aesthetic Monte, and I said to him, like, I pre-designed the NFTs and I put them in my wallet, and I said, what do you think of these? I think they look a bit feeble. And he said, yeah, they look feeble, right? So I had to go back and just slightly change them, but now I've come to a better conclusion, because what I was after was he was either going to turn around and say, no, there's no problems with that, or there is. But no, he sort of agreed with me. So I then changed the design, and now they look a lot better. The same with the website with Karen Berger. I sent it to loads of people in the space, and I said, like, what do you think about this? Tell me, can you understand the concept? And obviously, if people didn't come back and say, no, it's absolute crud, I'd have sort of like reworked it. I mean, I was lucky because, it's fairly easy to understand. But, asking as many people about your idea will make the idea better, because you'll find that people have fresh eyes on a situation or issue, and they can make it better with input.
Oh, yeah. There's a lot of things that you don't think about that come about from others. If you're gonna do that, like he said before, he's a serial marketer, don't be afraid of just don't be afraid of criticisms. Criticisms are a good thing. Don't think of them as somebody bashing you, even if they're being mean, because that can happen. Some people can be mean with theirs, but don't take it that way. And I learned this years and years ago from doing YouTube. If you make YouTube video, and I never got huge or nothing, but if you make YouTube videos, you will 100% have hate comments from somebody at some point. But I learned to laugh at them. All right, if it's a hate comment that's like legit, not based on anything, then that's all it is. But if that hate comment says something about your stuff, and you're like that, like I suggest, like they said something bad about it, so now you can be like, well, why did they think that? Why is that bad? How can I make it to where they don't think that? You have to use those criticisms as a way to improve. But now, most of the time, you're not going to get hate, like YouTube hate. You're going to get some kind of feedback, whether it's constructive or whether it's picky. But when you do that, try. You don't have to implement it, but at least then you got that perspective. So, for example,
100%.
we're in a group chat with a number of creators on Twitter, and he just posts in there, and he'll even tell them to roast them. He's like, here's my website. I'm going to launch it. Tell me what you guys think. Roast me. Tell me all the bad crap about it. Tell me, like, I'm not afraid of it. So, and
that was me.
Yeah, that's you. And then that's what I'm talking about. And then as a couple people, okay, they went and looked, and they're like, oh, I didn't like this about it, and then this and this. And then he used that, and he improved the website because of that feedback. It doesn't mean you have to. And maybe it's not good feedback too. Maybe they're just being picky for no reason. But don't be offended by it. Take it to heart, or don't take it to heart. Like, take it to heart in a way of how can I use it. Don't take it to heart like, oh, they're bashing me.
So that's very interesting, isn't it? Because I've forgotten that. So actually, when I did put it out for what I call the blood on the walls, right, I did get some negative stuff back, didn't I? Because the guy in the chat absolutely ripped me apart. However, it made the website better as a consequence. Because to start off with, I was like, oh, he's just finding faults. And then I took a step back and I was like, hang on, I've asked for feedback. I've got feedback.
Especially if you're going to ask for it and say roast me. Don't feel like. And sometimes it can. Sometimes it is picky or something. Oh, I'm just ripping to do it. It can be, but even if it is, try to see what they're saying. Like he says, take a step back. The thing is, and this is also for all work, creation work. we're living in it. This is our baby. So, and I had to really learn this the hard way too with Consumer Break over the years. This is my baby. I am so deep into it. I'm in love with it. It's almost like in my head, why isn't everybody else? Why aren't they like me? And they just love. No, it's because it's your baby. It's what you've been working on for so long, and you end up in an echo chamber of your own thoughts and what you're doing. And it's hard to sometimes take a step back of a new person that's never seen it at all, and what would they think of it from the outside? And you just got to look at it that way. And how do you do that? You just have to listen to those people, their reactions. How are they 100%. Reacting? What are they saying? And then try to look at it that way instead of how you've been in it for like a year. So.
Oh my God. Sorry, can I just interject there? I totally Cartman there, didn't I? So, like, I just actually told people that I put my stuff out there and nobody had any bad feedback because that's the way I remember it. And then you
well, that was
reminded me.
In a DM, yeah. In a DM, there was a little bit.
Yeah.
But I don't know, it's constructive. I don't think it was bad.
Yeah, no, 100%. Sorry. No, it was constructive, wasn't it? And as a result, my website is like 10 times better than it would have been before. I think it's great, and I mean we even do it, don't we? Like when I've given my opinions on like when we've been working as a team, sometimes it's you know we say stuff, but it makes us better. Do you know what I mean? Like you learn from others, and you just have to. It's like you say, you either turn around and take on board what that person's saying. Or you can just carry on doing what you're doing, and it's if you don't ask for the information, you don't have that opportunity. Is what I'm trying to say there.
Mm-hmm. I put the form in the chats there again. It's also in the Twitch. Everybody that's here, if you can, especially if you're a creator, go ahead and fill the form. And if you attend all 3 sessions live, including last week's and this one and next week's. You will get a free Nuvo code to put into your booth slides, which is a code that people can scan to add points to their badge. It's an incentive to look at your slides. And also one random person that attends all 3 sessions will get a free booth for N4. So make sure that you do that. And yeah, anybody else here, now's a good time to pipe up. We talked about a lot of great things here today. And if you didn't catch it all, it's you can watch the VOD. Obviously, it's on Twitch, but it's also going on YouTube. At the beginning, we had some slide design stuff. We kind of breezed through it, but if anybody else has questions about stuff. Also, the last session in April had a lot of great stuff for slide design, and that's on YouTube. So if you really want to, if you're a new creator and you really want to learn some good stuff, not just from me and Matt here, but we had other creators there too piping in with good tips. Just watch those back, and that's going to help you a lot. But we talk about slide design some.
I think...
Huh?
Sorry, I think where we'll have to go with the whole YouTube videos is we're going to have to do some editing, and we're going to have to say this is the best slide design presentation.
Oh yeah! Once we keep doing more and more of these, yeah. Something we'll need a nice smash cut of the best content. We're building. This is the second. The second NFTOPIA school, and this is the second session of that, and I think this is great. We're going to keep doing it.
No, it's brilliant, and this is the closest to what I envisaged or wanted NFTOPIA School to be at the start, which is it's not just me doing a presentation, and that's why mine was quite brief today, although it was 30 minutes. Oh my God! But it's about getting other creators to give a fresh perspective, because we're all learning from. We learned from Waffles. We learned from Peter. There's just so much out there, and there's only so much that me and you can do, I think. So hopefully moving forward we'll be able to get more creators to come and do presentations, because that's where the
I like that too. Yeah, if we had more, we didn't do that last time in April. We had a roundtable, but the fact that you two came here and had your own little presentation, that's more than just showing your project. That's what the slides are for. But showing more of the process behind being a creator, that's really good stuff. We love that. So I'm sure we'll do more of that too. We'll incorporate that too. Yeah. We talked a lot about Twitter, and we talked about collaborating and just being a new project creator. So lots of good stuff. If there's anything more that anybody wants to pipe in voice or in text, if you have any feedback or questions for us, now's a good time. If you are an exhibitor and you have a booth, we're getting there now, y'all. We're 2 weeks out. You want to start? If you haven't started, I mean, now you definitely want to start. You want to make your booth slides. Work on your slides. Ask us questions in the Discord and plan your drops and giveaways. If you have any kind of giveaways, NFTs that you want to donate to us to put into the swag or to put in the treasure chest, you got the next 2 weeks to do it, and they'll be there. We'll be promoting it and everything. So that's a great thing. We need more of it. So if anybody got prizes, send them to us. We'll add them in, and it's gonna be a big old giveaway in the weekend. Same thing for the drops. We'll put them into the drops booth, and then the booth itself is your booth. And then ask away. We're here to help. This is a school. We're here to help.
Hi guys.
Yeah. Hey.
Hiya.
How's it going?
You hear me in echo? No.
Yeah.
I'm not hearing an echo. Do you hear an echo? Because you might have the Twitch playing.
Have you got the?
Have
you got the Twitch open?
No, it's muted. Okay. Hi. I can turn my camera on as well. Hi guys. I'm Christian. I'm brand new here.
Nice to meet you. Do you have a project as well, or are you just tuning in?
I created I've been working for 6 months approximately with creating a brand new collection for the first time.
Okay, well, you're in a good spot. That's great. Tell us about it.
So it's called Fifth Spatial. It's like a sci-fi type exploring thing.
Okay.
With these objects that appear out of nowhere in random locations in nature.
Cool.
So not much is known about them yet. Scientists are having issues figuring out what they are all about.
Interesting. All right. Well, now that you said the project name, you got your booth and you're already planning some exclusive. Can I show or do you want to keep it a tease? But the art that you have for an exclusive NFTOPIA, that's beautiful. You're already making some collab art, which we're encouraging. Like we said at the beginning of the show here, with the ape example, if you make artwork or even drops or anything and incorporate the NFTOPIA logo to make a collab drop or a collab art, we love that stuff. So that we encourage it.
Not necessarily using the logo on the art though. You don't have to.
Yeah, you don't have to use the logo.
It may be exclusive.
At least tell folks that it's an exclusive thing for the weekend. Yeah, but if you want to use our content, it's free to use. Go for it. It's free to use. But yeah, you want to say more about anything? Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, sure. So first and foremost, I really love the energy of this session. I kind of jumped in. I got my booth approved 2 days ago, I think. And just been stumbling to get the overview of everything, I think I almost watched the whole week 1 video because I've missed everything before. I'm really good at being focused on creating and not so good at marketing and stuff. So I've been taking a lot of screenshots and taking some notes. So it's been super useful so far.
Well, very good, very good to hear. We're happy to hear that. That's what it's for.
Yeah, really. A few questions.
Fire away.
What was I thinking about? It's almost 1 a.m. here. And
Nice.
So.
Well, thanks for making it to the session, especially where you're saying you're a creator and you don't do marketing much. This is what it's intended for. So we appreciate you tuning in, especially deep into the night. I'm looking forward to see what you already like what you already told us, the info for your giveaways and your art. I already like it, so I'm looking forward to what you do with slides and what the whole project ends up being.
Yeah, right. So regarding the swag stuff, I guess a concrete question.
Mm-hmm.
You say I read one place that is no problem. You can mint it after the event, but you also say send it to this address.
Yeah, it's up to you. Well, basically, we'd probably prefer if you send them if you have a limited amount. But if you want to send something to everybody that filled out the bounty block, which some do, then we'll give you the list after. That way, you can just mass mint to everyone. But if you have a set amount, whether it's 10, 15, 20, or up to 100,
Right.
200, it doesn't matter. You can send them to our wallet, and then we'll distribute everything. Make it easier for everyone.
Right. So I was thinking to give it to everyone that signs up for, let's say, Twitter and Discord, but maybe there is something I haven't thought of that makes that not so good idea.
Well, as far as the tasks go, with our swag bounty block, the list will include everybody that did at least one entry. So it doesn't necessarily mean follow you. They could just follow anyone and it would count. But your entry would be there too. You would also I'm speaking to everyone here, any project, but you would also have your socials in the thing to get entries. But if you're going to give something to everybody, it's going to everyone that did at least one. But with that said, you can also create your own giveaways, and we talked about that last week some. But yeah, Bounty Block is an amazing tool. I use it every day for both contests and the mass minting because my project does a lot of that. But if you wanted to create your own Bounty Block contest, you can put that right into your booth and choose your own tasks, and people would just go to your booth to enter it.
Right.
And then you can promote that any way you want. But to be in part of the big one, which will get more people because that's the big main one, and there's a huge amount of prizes in it, it's up to you. If you want to give something to everybody that fills, then that's great. I mean, if you have any project that has a lot of NFTs they want to mint out, because it just depends on your project. So some don't want to do that, and that's very limited on their free stuff, and that's fine. Other projects like Consumer Break, we like to just throw stuff out. That's not throw stuff out, but give tons and tons away. We have tens of thousands of mints because I created the project for that purpose, to be able to give away free stuff to work your way up and not have to buy them. And if you do that and you have and you're willing to give a bunch, then I would recommend minting something to everybody in the swag. And then also, if you can, do a bounty block at your booth. Do both of them. Why not? So choose something, whether it's something.
So how many? If I were to give one NFT to each person.
It depends on how many people turn up. But when
Right.
I've done
Last
that
time
before,
it was between 200 and 300, but it depends how many people will actually
Yeah.
do sign up the thing. Yeah. If you'd
Right,
rather
right. So
not, if you'd rather know ahead of time the actual mints, then maybe you just want to mint, choose a number, 100, 200, but it's up to you.
I'm just
Yeah, I just figure if you're saying you recommend to send it to you beforehand. So I gotta
If you
choose
want
some number, right?
Yeah.
If you want to choose
So-
a number, I'd send it to us beforehand, yeah. Because we don't know how many people there will be until the end. But at the end, we're going to have a list that we can provide the list as well. The way you would want to mass send is to use Bounty Block. So if you haven't done that, then that's also something you want to apply and get started on, which we can help too. It's a simple process, but yeah.
Yeah, I wrote
I've
it
got
down here.
a crucial question here. So first of all, you said there, have you watched week one, or were you at week one? Is that based on what you saw in week one?
I watched
right.
a week one. I'm not
You
sure if
watched
it's the right week one.
So yeah, so basically, if you watched last week one, it'll be different to week one from last year, right? But I'd just go back and check that you watched this year's one for a start, right? All I was trying to say with the swag was, if you're sort of like snowed with other stuff that you're doing, you have the option of then doing it afterwards. But like, there's other considerations, and that's why I'd say make sure you go back and watch it, because you have to start to consider stuff like, what's your potential audience, because actually giving away a lot of NFTs can knacker your floor. So like I can do it now. I can just about sustain giving everyone an NFT. However, what I tend to do is I tend to make it something like a pack, so it's slightly more premium, and then those people are whitelisted for a drop, and then they get to claim that drop. So there's the ownership over that. So I'm not just sending out 300 NFTs. It's 300 people on a whitelist to claim something, and then I promote that via Twitter, and NFTopia promote that as well, and just say Drawn Company has done his whitelist if you signed up for swag. So
Yeah.
yeah, but very interesting that you'd ask that question.
Yeah. No, I mean, I agree with you too. Like I said, it depends on the project. So definitely not every project is set up to just want to or whatever give out tons and tons of stuff. There's plenty of projects where their NFTs are valuable, and that would devalue them if they gave out hundreds of things. Yeah. So it's up to you at the end of the day. There are a lot of projects that are only sending like 10 to 5, 10, 20, but in that range, that's also very common. So if you only want to send like 5 prizes for our swag, that's totally fine. You can just send that to us though, and then we'll deliver it. And then as far as your own contest, yeah, I would watch again last week's the latest video on YouTube, on NFTopia's YouTube, because we did go over the swag and drop strategies quite a little depth there to help you really understand that. And that's a good way to go about it. If you're going to do a drop or a free claim in your own booth, you can't just have a free drop for everybody to get it. It's going to get botted. So there's ways around that.
Yeah.
Or a way to run your own giveaways. And we'll just say to watch last week's, because we covered that in depth. So watch last week's, you'll understand that a lot more. But any other questions, throw them at us.
So, sorry, just one more thing on that. Don't let the answer limit you, right? In that, in fact, you could actually do something exclusive with the bounty blocks, and then you could do something mass market yourself afterwards, because you have access to that data and you can airdrop those people that thing. But you have to be clear at the time that that's what's going to happen, because otherwise you'll have 300 accounts getting in an NFT that they're not expecting, and that can also be detrimental.
Yeah. I don't think we ever said that really super highlighted that, but yeah, don't try to avoid airdropping NFTs just to wallets, just because they're the wallets. Like holders of, like, say, apes. Oh, I'm going to airdrop something to all the ape holders. I can get those wallets, but that's called spam. And not only do a lot of people not like that, if they don't know what you are and they just randomly see something and it has nothing to do with anything they didn't enter any giveaway or nothing, it just was sent to them, they see that as spam. And Atomic Hub doesn't allow it. So no. you could get blacklisted if you keep doing that. It's in the rules not to, or also Bounty Block. It's in Bounty Block's rules when you sign up. Do not mass mint to random wallets. But, if they did sign up, then it's wonderful. It's wonderful. If for a giveaway or a list or something, just be clear about everything you do. Don't do anything just like spur without being clear about it. And that includes airdropping NFTs. Some people might think, well, it's free. That's a free NFT. Just burn it if you don't want it. I wouldn't look at it that way. I would associate it with something, because not only might it look like spam and people would think of you less, but it could even get you blacklisted, and you don't want that.
And that's all we're saying is just when you decided if you go for the limited or the mass market or both, you just need to be clear at that point with NFTopia and say, this is what I'm going to do, because then people will expect it.
Mm-hmm. So when it's like, if you send something to everybody, that's because they signed up on the giveaway. They signed up to do it, something like that. So yeah, it's not like it's not like taking the wallet list of everybody that attended NFTopia and sending them something, because they had to sign up to do the thing. Crypto Witch, I would rather let people discover me and want my NFTs than give them to random people who don't really want them. Yeah, exactly. The only reason to do that is your NFT's an ad. That's the reason you would do that, is is the person that found it in your wallet. Now they look at it and now, oh, what's this? They click your stuff. But but like we were just saying, if it's spam, then chances are they're not going to think of it that way. They're going to think, who the crap is this person that sent me something random? Especially if they're new and have never made sales.
Yeah.
Because there was a collection a while ago that did that. They sent them to everybody had one. And it was never sold anything on the market. And I don't think it never did because most people just burned them and they thought less of it because of that. So it's just a thing to consider. And, you know, don't be intrusive. Yeah, exactly. If one person wants it, it's better than 500 people who don't but have them. Yeah. And it's not free for us to send them either. It's very cheap. But if you're going to if you're going to airdrop hundreds of NFTs, that's costing you RAM to do it technically. So you're actually paying RAM to even do it. Yeah, lots of good points here. Here, we're on 2 hours. How about that? We made a 2-hour show packed full of content. That's great. So if anybody else wants to hop on the voice or in the chat, ask us anything, now's the time. And,
otherwise, we're going to bed.
Yeah, some of us are going to bed. But we definitely appreciate everybody that tuned in, especially anyone that stopped in from that stuck around from the BD raid. That's awesome. And yeah, and we got a couple logo heads here too. Aqua Skate Art joining us, very nice. Waffles Kitty, Humble Drawings is with us. Of course, Xzilla's up there with us with a booth too. What was your project's name there? Might possibly fifth what something? Fifth Spatial.
Fifth Spatial.
Spatial, awesome. Looking forward to that. Is that already a collection on Atomic Hub or not yet?
I got the confirmation from them today, I think. So I verified my identity, so should be getting my badges.
So you're already there. So in 2 weeks from now, you'll be there, ready to go. Great, that's awesome to hear. See, Pixtalgia is Peter Potts. Oh, that's you, Peter Potts. You have the Aquascape logo on your head. Okay, nice. You made it here, Peter. The Crypto Witch project is Cute Beasties. Nice. Is Cute Beasties a live project yet? Is it a collection yet? Or is it going to be soon? Oh, you're saying it right here. It has been dropped, so it won't. Nothing has been dropped, so it won't do any good to look it up. It's a blank page. Gotcha. But your first drop will be at NFTOPIA. Well, that's what we like to hear. That's a great place to debut a collection. That's awesome. Anybody else? Last call, of course, also to fill out that form. So if you haven't done that, fill out the form before we raid.
And just one more thing, can I thank John Weed for doing a cool social post today? Thanks for that. Really appreciate it.
Oh, nice. That's a cool social post. Cool. How do you have the rain cloud over your head the entire time? I thought that was a temporary star thing. But you're sitting over there like, nah, I just want to be rained on today. I'm just going to chill here and be rained on. The duck likes the water. He's holding the duck. All right. Having fun in the metaverse, y'all. We're having fun in the metaverse. All right. So
I've got to go.
Yeah.
I'll see you later.
Thank you very much for the presentation. That was great. Great stuff covered. Looking forward to the next one in 1 week. Everybody come back in 1 week. See you later, Dron.
Woo.
And
see you later.
I'm just going to find a channel to raid where we won't do no games or nothing. I will be back here on Thursday for a stream that's full of Grubfish games and an AMA interview and a drop of our own, a new special drop, a collab one, and a puzzle game. That's what I'll be doing Thursday. Otherwise, hope to see you in 1 week. We'll be here at the same time in 1 week on the 22nd. We'll have one more show for you covering more stuff, another presentation from Dron, and hope to, especially if you have a logo over your head, hope to have you back here, learn some more, ask some more questions. It's been a pleasure having you all here. Of the people I see on, Franklin just now went live. Prime Rogue is also on. That's our two NFTOPIA clan right now. Let's hit up Franklin. who is a mod for Novo Pangea, and also Nifty Kicks Factory, both of which are exhibitors. I love it. I love having so many projects that wanted to and got a booth. Love it. So we're here to support them for sure as well. All right, and there goes that. All right, so if anybody has any more questions about, especially not necessarily about the stream, you can watch back the stream and learn some stuff. But if you have questions about your booth and anything you need in the next 2 weeks, get us in Discord, get us in the private channel in your Discord, and get us your giveaways and your drop links. Set up your booth, ask us stuff, and 2 weeks from now is when the party will begin, and we look forward to that. So with that, it's been fun, y'all. We learned a lot today. It's been real. I'm Breakman. We had Drawn Company with us today, and Waffles Kitty, and Aesthetic Monte, who had awesome presentations. Thanks to them for also presenting. That was awesome. Very, very nice. I'm going to leave you with Franklin Live, who's doing some Novo stuff. Oh, let's hooray!